Are you ready for what June has in store for us? There is going to be a lot of energetic changes from what we've experienced in March, April, and May, and there's going to be some relief. So let's talk about it. Welcome back, Astro fam. It's me, Mandy Rose, your relational astrologer, and today we are talking about the month of June. Lots of energetic shifts, a lot of fire picking back up in the sky, retrograde season starting to pick back up. So we are going to break it all down in this video, what you need to know for the month of June ahead, energetically speaking. And also we are going to go through each planet one by one. We are going to break down the lunations, the new and the full moon of this month, what Venus is up to, what Mars is up to, what all the other planets are up to, and what they're trying to teach us this month so that we can be in alignment with the lessons and navigate this energy with ease. Also, at the end of this video, I am going to break down the energy of June date by date. So you're going to want to go ahead and grab your calendar. If you have your copy of the 2023 Astrology Retrograde Journal, make sure you open it up to page 42, which is the month of June overview. And it also has a calendar here for you to go by and also fill in extra dates. When we do the date by date breakdown, it's going to be very helpful for you to see what you have on your calendar for this month ahead in your social life, in your personal life, in your work life, so you can work with this energy to maximize the potential and to also anticipate days where there maybe are challenges or obstacles or energy that's not conducive to the activities that you currently have planned, and you can kind of rearrange things on your schedule. So a lot to break down for June. We have 13 major astrological events going on this month, so we will get through all of that. I'll try to make this video short and concise, but I know it's a lot of energy. So you can go to the timestamps below if you're looking for a specific planet. For instance, if you want to know what Mars is up to this month, maybe you want to know when the new and the full moon are going to be, you can find that in the timestamps below. I will also put in the timestamps all the dates that we will have specific astro weather events occurring. So maybe you have something going on June 21st. You can go to the timestamps below, see, oh, that's going to be the day of the summer solstice when the sun moves into Cancer. What does that mean and what can I anticipate on that day? So there's different ways that you can use this video. And again, if you have your astrology retrograde journal, make sure you have it handy for this video. Make sure that you set a reminder to fill out your journal prompts when that astro weather event happens. If you don't have your copy of this journal, you can grab it in the description box below. They are discounted. And even though we are halfway through the year, remember that this journal is part educational and part interactive. So you can always go back to an astro weather event that happened in April or March or February and read about it and learn what was going on around that time. You will learn what every new and full moon means and also what we're supposed to learn during retrograde seasons. So a lot to learn even if the time has passed. And I still recommend, if you forgot to fill out your journal prompt for an astro weather event that has already happened, go back and fill it out. It's never too late because usually you can reflect back to that time frame, what you were feeling or what was going on in your life. And it's going to help you navigate as you move forward in your personal life journey and also when you reflect back on what was going on in your life. So we're going to get started with the current month of June as we move into June on June 1st, what we can look forward to. And let's talk about the major themes before we go through each planet one by one. June is looking a lot different from March, April, and May. I think for many of us, that makes us feel alleviated and relieved because we have really been through it the last 90 days. As we moved into the month of March and the astrological new year, all that Aries energy of initiating, starting new projects, shifts and changes in our life. Then we went through eclipse season as we moved through the month of April and May, which there was a lot of jolting new things in our lives that we had to adapt to or course correct on. And so now we get into June and we're going more into retrograde season. Last month, we officially started our retrograde season for 2023, meaning that for the rest of the year, we will be in at least one active retrograde. And by the time we get to September, we will be in 8 retrogrades at once. So what that means is we started out the year, got into March and April, and there was a lot of new, and we were picking up opportunities, changing things in our lives. We were incorporating new journeys. And now when we get into retrograde season, we're going to have to go back over those new things that we began, circling back, re-editing, reviewing them, reanalyzing, reassessing. Remember that retrogrades are all about the words that begin with re. And so all the newness that we have in our life, we're going to have an opportunity to make it even better by going back over it. So that means things are going to start slowing down for us, that we aren't going to have as much forward movement in our life. Now, that can feel a little scary if you're kind of on this path and you feel like you are just launching and everything's in forward momentum, and all of a sudden that starts slowing down. That can be a little terrifying. But it's a beautiful thing, remembering that retrogrades are teaching us lessons and helping us course correct to make sure that when we are on our path, we continue on in the direction that we're meant to be and we don't veer off in the wrong direction. So we are going to be picking up more energy for retrograde season. As we move into the month of June, we currently have Pluto going retrograde in Aquarius, moving back into Capricorn. We have Mercury, who just got out of a retrograde. And as we move into the month of June, he is back on track in forward momentum. However, this month we have two more planets joining the retrograde party, and that is going to be Saturn and Neptune. And Saturn and Neptune are both in the energy of Pisces. So wherever Pisces falls within your birth chart, if you know this information, you're going to want to pay attention to that area of your life. Now, if you're unsure of it, you can head back to my Saturn in Pisces video where I break down what area of your life is being impacted as Saturn moves through the energy of Pisces, because this month he's going retrograde and he's taking Neptune with him. So lots of going back and re-editing and learning lessons in the Pisces area of our life. We're going to break that down in this video when we talk about Saturn and Neptune each individually, and we'll also give you the dates when that's going to happen. But I say that because this month, when we're dealing with the energy of Pisces, our spirituality, our energetic body, meaning our auras, our chakras, our mental health, our belief systems, our subconscious, all of that is related to the energy of Pisces. It's the energetics, the unseen spaces in our life. And Saturn is trying to teach us lessons to mature, to grow, to have a strong foundation in these areas of our life. And so when he's retrograding, we're going to have to revisit those things and learn those lessons. There's going to be a lot of energy this month of slowing down, pulling our energy inwards, making sure that we're grounded, and we'll talk so much more about that. So just keep that in mind as we talk about the other planets. In addition to that, I mentioned that Mercury is officially out of retrograde. He was retrograde in the energy of Taurus. As Mercury moves out of retrograde, he picks up speed and starts hauling butt forward in the sky. So this month, he's going to go from Taurus into Gemini, into Cancer, meaning we're going to have three different mercurial, our mind, ways of thinking, ways of speaking, all within one short month. Mercury being the messenger, so that's our socialization, our communication, and the way that we're thinking, moving so fast, moving so quickly forward, wanting to talk, wanting to have ideas, wanting to launch projects, wanting to network with people, wanting to have a massive, important, big social life in the month of June, as Mercury is finally out of retrograde and moving forward. But don't forget, Saturn and Neptune retrograding in Pisces, asking us to pull back our energy, to make sure that you are grounded in your energetic body. So this is the major lesson in June, as we have a lot of shifts in the sky. There's other planets in fire signs, initiating things, lots of excitement. But we are balancing that with the lessons in Pisces. So finding that balance is going to be so important for you in the month of June. And adding to that forward fire, passionate energy is Mars finally entered Leo. This happened in the month of May. Very exciting energy. We will break that all down, but a little preview is that Mars is the masculine. He's like taking action, making decisions, moving us forward in our life. And he loves to be in a fire energy, which Leo is a fire energy. Mars has not been in a fire sign since way back in Aries over a year ago. So in the month of May, as this transit happened, we all started wanting to proceed again forward in our life, make decisions, be a little risk-taking, and just put some passion into our own energy field again. And so this area of the sky of Leo is going to be very important as we move into the month of June, because Venus, the planet of ruling over all the things that we love in our life, our money, our material possessions, our relationships, the things that we create, the things that we value and hold dear to us, that is what Venus rules over. And she's going to join Mars in the energy of Leo. So Mars in a fire sign, Venus in a fire sign. Venus will retrograde here, spending 5 months here this summer. So there's going to be a lot of intensity around relationships. And as a relational astrologer, I love to bring this up, but I want to give a little Word of caution for everyone for the month of June, because of this energy in Leo, because the masculine and the feminine are meeting up in the same sign, because there's a retrograde with Venus, our planet of love. If you are meeting new people in the month of June, that could be romantic, that could be business, it could be partnership, proceed with caution because there will be a retrograde with Venus. So we are going to have to reevaluate, reassess, recommit to people in our life. And we're going to want to proceed with caution until that retrograde is over, which does not happen until the month of September. So proceed with caution. Relationships may have a lot of fire and passion and intensity to them with this fire energy, as Mercury is having us socialize and reach out to people and communicate and learn things. But we are remembering to go inward and to ground ourselves. So that's the overlying theme of the month. Pay attention to that energy and how it plays out in your life. Also, really exciting for the month of June is we get to the summer solstice on June 21st when the sun moves into the energy of Cancer, the longest day of the year, meaning we have the most amount of light. So this is really exciting. It's a culmination point. We feel alive, we feel bright, we feel airy. It's the summer sunshine. And from that moment forward, we will be moving towards the winter solstice in December, where every day gets a little less light. So it's the culmination point, a beautiful day. We'll talk more about it in this video. So that is your overview for the month of June. Let's go ahead. I'm going to take these planets off. We're going to break them down one by one and what they're up to for the month of June. So to start out with, if you've been watching my monthly astro weather videos, you know that I usually start out with some planets on the chart because they're not up to a whole lot in that month. And so we usually just keep them on the chart and mention them very briefly. But for the month of June, every planet has something going on this month. So we are starting with a fresh slate, and we are really going to have to break down every single one of our life coaches one by one. So buckle up. Let's get started with the sun. Starting out with the sun, as we move into the month of June on June 1st, we are currently in Gemini season. Gemini is the messenger. It's an air sign. So it's all about speaking, expressing, communicating, learning, dealing with the mind. And when the sun is there, remembering the sun brings heat and life and vitality. Think of how the sun energetically feels when it touches your skin when you go outside. That is what the sun does, and it highlights and spotlights down the energy of the constellation of Gemini, which is all about socializing and communicating. So with the sun heating up this area of our life, we are wanting to learn things, we're wanting to connect with people, we're wanting to get out there and have an active social life as we move into the month of June. So let me know in the comments below if you are feeling that energy. However, when we get into the middle of the month on June 21st, we hit the summer solstice, where the sun moves into the energy of Cancer. Now, when that happens, we shift the sun from this very vibrant, socializing, multitasking, kind of anxious energy of Gemini that wants to do all the things. Remember, it's the twins, so it's this and that and this and that and all the things, to Cancer, which is the mother energy. It's slowing down. It's ruled by the symbol, the crab. So it wants to go inward. It's more nostalgic. It's more of a homebody. It's more about tapping into our intuition and into our feelings. It's a water energy. So we start out the month with air and thoughts and socializing, and then the sun moves into Cancer, where we all just want to hermit and slow down and maybe reach out to childhood friends or to be around people that feel safe and comfortable and familiar. This is a big theme with Cancer energy. So we will notice that shift from the sun from the beginning to the end of the month. Again, in your retrograde journal, you can go to the season of Gemini, which is going to be on page 40. And remember, I have a bucket list here for you of all the things that you want to get done before June 21st to help maximize this energy and incorporate it into your life. And then when we get to Cancer season on page 47, you can go ahead and start adding these bucket list items to your calendar. So that is the sun. Then we're going to talk about the moon. We have two lunations this month, a new moon and a full moon. We actually start out with the full moon in Sagittarius on June 3rd. So Sagittarius up here in the sky. The sun will still be in the energy of Gemini. This is happening at 13 degrees of Sagittarius and the sun at 13 degrees of Gemini. So go ahead and open your birth chart and look to see if you have any planets at those 2-degree points. This is going to be a full moon that is all about letting go and releasing. Remember, full moons are releasing, releasing old belief systems, old philosophies, old ways of living your life that is more based on the facts and the details and what should and shouldn't be done, and instead expanding your mind and expanding your consciousness, going on adventures, learning through experience, and ultimately releasing those beliefs that hold you back from having faith and optimism. I'll talk so much more about this in the full moon in Sagittarius video that I'm going to release, so you can catch all the details in that. But just know on June 3rd, we're going to have this full moon in Sagittarius. Then when we get to the 18th of June, we are going to have a new moon in the energy of Gemini. Now the sun is moving into Cancer on the 21st, so this new moon in Gemini on the 18th happens just before that, and it's going to be happening at 26 degrees. So again, check your chart to see if you have any planets around 26 degrees of Gemini where that new moon is happening. Every year we have a new moon in the energy of Gemini. New beginnings, new fresh starts, new chapters, new ways to invigorate that area of our life. And remember, Gemini is the mind, it's the thoughts, it's the networks, it's the communication, it's marketing yourself. It also rules short distance travel. So you may want to book some new travel, you may want to go visit people, you may want to join new network groups, you may want to collaborate with somebody, or you may just want to reinvent yourself on social media, right? Marketing yourself. And then we move over to Mercury. Mercury, like I mentioned, is hauling butt this month. Lots of activity, lots of things going on. Remember, Mercury is the communicator and the messenger. He rules over our mind. So our spoken words, our written words, our contracts, our negotiations, our social circles, all the things that we keep talking about with Mercury. Also remembering that Mercury rules over travel, transportation, and technology. So those topics are going to be big in our lives as Mercury moves through 3 different zodiac signs. Meaning in your birth chart, Mercury will visit 3 areas of your life in 30 short days. So overall, you might just feel like you are going all the places, seeing all the things, booking all the travel. That is definitely the energy of this month. So starting out the month on June 1st, Mercury will be in the energy of Taurus at 15 degrees. This is the point where he is out of retrograde energy, out of his post shadow. He is now in new territory and we are moving forward. So 15 degrees of Taurus on June 1st. Now, in addition to that, when Mercury is moving through the energy of Taurus, he is going to run into the planet Uranus. Uranus has been in Taurus since 2019. We talk about him all the time as we have all this pileup of energy in Taurus. Remember Uranus, sudden jolting change. We'll get to him later. But as Mercury, our communication, our mind, our thoughts, our ideas runs into Uranus, that is sudden jolting, unexpected news, unexpected ideas, conversations that lead to new innovation, new beginnings, lots of new sudden revelations with our mindset and conversations in people as this happens at the beginning of the month. So then Mercury will leave Taurus and move into the energy of Gemini on the 11th of the month. And then Mercury is going to move into Cancer at the end of the month on the 26th. And then we move into Venus, a very important life coach to us, especially to me as a relational astrologer, always paying attention to what Venus is up to in the sky, remembering that she is the planet, the life coach that rules over the areas of our life that deal with everything that we love. Relationships, our possessions, our assets, our resources, our money, our creative ideas, everything that we hold dear to us, Venus is going to rule over. And remember, her lesson to us is to always make our life more beautiful, more pleasurable, and more harmonious. Now, Venus is a planet that moves fairly quickly, meaning she's only going to spend 3 weeks in each area of our life, calling in that feminine abundance and magnetism and attracting an energy to make our life more beautiful, pleasurable, and harmonious in each area of our life. However, this month, Venus will be moving from the energy of Cancer into the energy of Leo. When Venus gets into Leo, she will be here for 5 months. And like I said, traditionally she'd only be here for 3 weeks, but because she is retrograding this summer, that will be 5 entire months that the Leo area of our life is going to be getting the blessing, the abundance, the attraction, the magnetism of energy of Venus to make that area of our life more beautiful, more pleasurable, and harmonious. It's a very exciting energy. And she'll be joined by Mars, who we'll talk about next. And the masculine and the feminine dancing through the same energy makes things more spicy, more fiery, and really helps us take action, Mars, in that area of our life so that Venus can make it more beautiful. So really looking forward to this energy. I will have in a separate video talking all about Venus moving through the energy of Leo. I've just been looking forward to this all year long. I'll give you an example. I'm a Scorpio rising, so that puts Leo as my 10th house of career. And I'm super excited for Venus to park her butt there and make the career space of my life more beautiful and more pleasurable and harmonious by the time we get to October, when she leaves and goes into Virgo. So again, that means at the beginning of the month on June 1st, Venus is still in the energy of Cancer. She will be at 25 degrees of Cancer. On the 5th of June, right at the beginning of June, she will move into Leo, and then she will start moving her way through the energy of Leo. By the time she gets to the 19th of June, she will be at the degree point at which she will retrograde back to. So pay attention on the 19th of June moving forward. That is going to be circumstances, situations, people coming into your life, anything that is happening from that point until her retrograde begins in July on the 22nd, that you might have to circle back to. So make a little mental note of that on the 19th, that Venus is in her pre-shadow where she will circle back to. And when Venus enters Leo, remembering Leo is the lion. It is bold, it is proud, it takes a couple risks. It's a leader energy. It's all about being creative and wanting to be seen, wanting to be heard, wanting to be praised, wanting to be recognized. If you know a Leo in your life, you know what I'm talking about. So Venus going into this energy is going to help us all feel more magnetic, more beautiful, more attractive, so that we are seen and recognized and praised by people in specifically the area of your life that ruled by Leo. But we're all going to feel this energy, and we're all going to want to take a couple more risks in our life. Leo is about risks towards the things that we love and value. So it's a beautiful energy. It's a fire energy. We start to feel a little spicier, a little more attractive and magnetic in our relationships. So a very great, fun energy to embrace on the 5th of June as Venus parks her butt here for the next 5 months. So definitely looking forward to that. Now we're going to add in the energy of Mars to that dynamic. Mars, remember, rules over our masculine side. So how we take actions, how we make decisions, how we move forward in our life. What is our chi and what is our stamina like at the moment is always dependent on where Mars is in the sky, what energy he's embodying. And Mars, as we move into the month of June, is already in the zodiac energy of Leo. He is welcoming in Venus as she enters on the 5th, because he's already been here since the month of May. And Mars in Leo, he's so excited to be here. Like I mentioned in the intro, Mars has not been in a fire sign since he was way back here in Aries. And remembering that he had 7 months last year that we dealt with this Mars retrograde in Gemini. Remember last August, he entered into Gemini and got stuck here until March of this year. And so that was a lot of thinking, taking action based on the facts, the logic, the conversations, the research, the, interactions that we had with other people. We were gaining knowledge. And then Mars moved into Cancer, which we've been feeling most of March and April and part of May. And that means Mars taking action in Cancer was taking action based on how we feel, taking action based on our intuition, slowing down. It's a water energy. When Mars was in Cancer, we were slowing down. We didn't feel like making decisions. Our stamina and our chi was just like, turtle pace, swimming against the tide. And we didn't feel like we made a lot of progress. But when Mars moved into Leo on May 20th, he is back in a fire sign. It's been a year. He is just feeling spicy and ready to get things going. In a bold Leo, risk-taking Leo, intense, pay attention to me Leo way. So we're going to be taking a lot more action. Mars is going to be here until the month of July. So the entire month of June, we get to embrace this Mars and Leo energy, and Venus joining the party, calling in the abundance when we take the Mars actions, when we make the decisions that we need to make. So for the month of June, Mars will start out at 6 degrees of Leo and move to 23 degrees of Leo. So if you have any planets in your birth chart between those degree points, they will be visited by Mars this month, helping you take action and making decisions, based on whatever planet he's crossing over in your own chart. So if that's a little complicated for you, I love doing astrology breakdowns, astro forecast readings. We can do a month ahead reading and talk about everything that we're discussing in this video and help you make sense of it. Or we could do a 6-month forecast or a year ahead forecast to kind of help you know what areas of your life Leo is, what area of your life Gemini is, and help you break it all down. So I love doing that. You can book that in the description box below. Otherwise, just try to follow along and understand the energy I'm describing. We're all going to feel, regardless of where it falls in your birth chart. So Mars and Leo, we're all going to have a little bit more stamina, a little bit more energy, a little bit more passion, a little bit more intensity. So pay attention to that within yourself and also notice and recognize that in the people around you. As a relational astrologer, it's so important to understand the current astrology so we can understand why people are acting up or acting away or maybe wanting to be more inwards and introverted, because these planets affect all of us. So you're on the right track if you're trying to have better relationships by understanding the astro weather. That leads us then to Jupiter, my favorite planet in the sky. You guys know I love Jupiter because he is the planet of abundance and luck and prosperity and blessings and opportunities. And wherever he is in the sky, we have to pay attention to, because he is going to expand that area, grow that area, maximize that area. And Jupiter in May officially moved into the energy of Taurus, something I have been looking forward to. And when Jupiter entered Taurus on May 16th, he will be here for an entire year until May of 2024. If you want more information on what his journey is going to look like, how this affects your rising sign based on your birth chart, energy and lessons we're going to learn during this transit, you can head over to my video, Jupiter in Taurus, where I break that all down. But specifically for the month of June, he enters this month of June, and we're going to kind of fast forward here to the North Node of Destiny as Jupiter enters Taurus. On the 16th of May at 0 degrees, he goes 0, 1, 2, and on June 1st, he hits 3 degrees and runs into the North Node of Destiny. Now we know that anytime we see this horseshoe, this North Node of Destiny, this is the newness. This is fate. This is destiny. This is what's coming to us that we don't have to work hard for, but it is in alignment with our highest good and our purpose. And so when Jupiter, the planet of blessing, abundance, opportunity, expansion, and growth, runs into our destiny, runs into our fate, runs into things that are meant for us, this is like a fast forward speed acceleration of what is meant for us. So at the beginning of June, we're already going to be feeling this energy. It's going to really last the end of May until the first week of June. So pay attention to what comes into your life. And maybe in the moment it doesn't feel like much, but it plays out over the course of the next year to be one of the most exciting times of your life. And this is where it all began. So pay attention and take inventory of what's going on the first week of June for you. So Jupiter in Taurus, moving in, such an exciting energy. He moves from 3 degrees on the first of the month all the way to 9 degrees of Taurus. And halfway through the month on the 11th, you will notice the 11th is a very important day. We got a lots going on astrologically speaking on that day. On the 11th, Jupiter enters 5 degrees of Taurus, where he will begin his pre-shadow, because at 5 degrees of Taurus is where Jupiter is going to retrograde back to. So on the 11th, he hits 5 degrees, then he'll go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, all the way to 15, where he will begin his retrograde in September at 15 degrees and circle all the way back to 5 degrees by December 30th. You will see that in my full Jupiter and Taurus video. But what happens on June 11th, Jupiter will circle all the way back to that situation in your life by December 30th, because he will retrograde back to that 5 degree of Taurus. In addition, when we get to October, we are going to have our final eclipse in the energy of Taurus, and it happens at 5 degrees of Taurus, where Jupiter will retrograde too. That happens on June 11th, and he will circle back on December 10th. So halfway between there, we will have an eclipse there. So pay attention to what's going on in your life at that time. We can break that all down in a personal reading if you need more assistance. But remember, at the beginning of the year, I said that 5 degrees of Taurus is a major area of the sky this year, because Mercury retrograded there, meaning he hit that spot twice. Jupiter will retrograde there, meaning he will hit that spot twice. And we have an eclipse there. all at 5 degrees of Taurus. So if you have somewhere in your chart or a planet near 5 degrees of Taurus, it's a big year for you. Then we move to Saturn, our tough love dad, our disciplinarian. Gotta know what Saturn's up to in the sky because he's always teaching us lessons. He is Lord Karma. Saturn moved into the energy of Pisces back in March, where he will hang out for almost 3 years. So something we are having to embrace and to pay attention to. This month, Saturn begins his retrograde. This is very important to understand because this year, Saturn starts out in Pisces at 0 degrees, goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and at 7 degrees on the 17th of June, he will retrograde all the way back to the beginning of Pisces, back to 0 degrees of Pisces. Meaning, Lord Karma is giving us an opportunity this year to do the things we need to do to mature, to have strong foundations, to have discipline, to have structure, to have routines, to create a solid system in our life before he actually starts coming in as the disciplinarian, before he actually starts teaching us the lessons the hard way. Because he is giving us a chance as he circles all the way back to 0. And when he gets back to 0 in November, he's like, all right, let's start again. I came in, I checked it out, I evaluated how you're doing. Do you have a strong foundation in this area of your life? And then I will really start the lessons in November. So right now we're in a trial period with Saturn. And Saturn in Pisces, I have a full video on Saturn in Pisces and the lessons we're supposed to be learning. But as a quick reminder, a refresher, is that Saturn in Pisces deals with the energetics. Talked about it in the intro. Pisces deals with our energetic body, our auras, our chakras, our mental health, our subconscious beliefs, all the things behind the scenes, our spirituality. What do we believe in? What do we have faith in? What do we go back to when the things in our life aren't going the way we want them to? What is our foundational belief system that we trust and hold dear to us? Saturn is trying to teach us, what is your spiritual practice? Do you have a routine every day? How do you honor your mental health? How do you align your chakras, your energetic body? Do you have boundaries? Do you protect your energy? What are you learning and growing in your mental beliefs, your mental health, your spiritual practice? All these things Saturn is calling us to take responsibility, be more mature in this area of your life. And when he retrogrades this month, you're going to have to step it up because he's Lord Karma. And when he comes out of retrograde in November, he's either going to bless you or he's going to punish you, right? Just like our tough love dad. He'll take you up for ice cream if you got A's, and you will be grounded for the summer if you fail the 8th grade and have to repeat it next year. Again, in your retrograde journal, there is 2 spread pages for every single retrograde. So you can go to the Saturn retrograde page on page 44 and 45 and see all the things that you're going to want to pay attention to for the retrograde. What to expect, a perfect time to put these things on your calendar, the do's and the don'ts and the journal prompts. You can fast forward to Venus's retrograde that's coming up that I talked about and learn about that ahead of time so you can, again, work with the energy, understand the lesson, understand why things are happening in your life and they're chaotic. So definitely pay attention to those lessons Saturn's trying to teach. Go watch that Saturn in Pisces video when we're done with this to get a refresher. And of course, I will have a Saturn retrograde video just reminding you of the lessons and how it's going to be impacting us. Then we get to Uranus. Uranus is in the energy of Taurus. Like I mentioned, he has been here since 2019. He'll be here for a while still. Uranus's role is to stay put, do his thing. He's not in retrograde. He's in his full power, bringing change, creating new futures for us, sudden revelations. He is the rebel and the revolutionary, switching things up in our life so suddenly we don't even know it hit us. And this month, as he's parked his butt in Taurus since 2019, he's going to have Mercury run into him at the beginning of the month, making, like I said, sudden news, sudden conversations, sudden revelations, sudden ideas that are going to help move us towards the future. And he is in the energy where Jupiter is, but they won't have an official interaction until we get to the spring of 2024. Again, you can find out details about that in the Jupiter in Taurus video. I break down what we can expect and when that actual conjunction is going to happen. So Uranus parking his butt, he's there doing his thing. Then we talk about the energy of Neptune. And like I mentioned, Neptune is in the energy of Pisces alongside Saturn. Neptune going retrograde this month. Neptune is the planet of illusion, of fantasy, of dreaming larger than life, being romantic, having a spiritual connection, kind of living in la la land and believing that all our dreams are possible. But when Neptune goes retrograde, the veil gets lifted, the truth is revealed, we come out of la la land, we take the rose-colored glasses off, and we see our life for what it is. And we have to learn these lessons. So that could be an uncomfortable retrograde. And then Saturn, Lord Karma, is retrograde. So we are stepping into karmic spaces where we're having to do the right thing and make the right decisions. And it's mainly impacting the Pisces area of our life. So lots going on there. Neptune this month will be at 27 degrees of Pisces. He doesn't move from that spot because he will turn around and start going retrograde. He has been in Pisces since 2017. So it's been a long time. He's at the tail end. He will move out of Pisces when we get to 2026. A very important transit for a later conversation. Then we're going to talk about Pluto. We don't often talk about Pluto, but this year he is a hot topic because he moved from the energy of Capricorn into Aquarius, and he moves into new zodiac signs once about every 15 years. So not something we see every day. And this month we are kicking off with a Pluto retrograde where he entered into Aquarius at 0 degrees, and he will retrograde back into Capricorn, meaning there's some unfinished business, some things he has to circle back to. Pluto is the planet of the underworld, secrets, hidden truth, revealing things that have to deal with power and control and manipulation and people's egos. He draws skeletons out of the closet. This will affect us more on a collective level, but remembering that Capricorn deals with government, institutions, religion, authorities, power figures, royalty, things like that. So you can think of him as the investigator or the detective, and he's going to dredge some things up, and he officially moves back into Capricorn on June 11th. Remember I said June 11th, a really big date, big energy going on at that time. And then lastly, we are going to talk about the North and the South Node. Like we mentioned, North Node is the current energy we are focusing on, our destiny, where in our life we are moving to in the current cycle. And then the South Node, we are eclipsing out, releasing and letting go, removing energy and blocks from our life, and they work together in a pair. So the South and the North Node deal with the eclipses. You know, if you've been following my astrology for a while, the North Node, the eclipses have been in the energy of Taurus, and the South Node, the other eclipses have been in the energy of Scorpio. This Taurus-Scorpio eclipse cycle is almost over. We are playing out the last of it. The North Node and the South Node, starting out in the month of June on the 1st, are going to be at 2 degrees of Taurus. They move backwards, so they go 2, 1, 0. When we get into July, they go from 0 degrees of Taurus to 29 degrees of Aries. And that will kind of officially begin the new eclipse cycle. So this month, we are really wrapping up the energy. Last month for us to really call in new energy, new beginnings, new fresh starts. Remember, Jupiter runs into the North Node at the beginning of the month, and that is going to be in the Taurus area of our life. Then we will have the final eclipse in Taurus in October, and that's the one that happens at 5 degrees of Taurus, big important degree point. So something really exciting. I didn't mention this earlier, but when Jupiter runs into the North Node, that happens every 12 years. This is not a common transit. Jupiter, planet of blessing, expansion, growth, opportunity. North Node, our destiny and fate and accelerating things. That day on June 1st, when that energy is potent, happens once every 12 years. The last time this happened was in the late summer of 2016. So this is really exciting energy, and it's thanks to the North Node. So Jupiter is going this way, North Node is going that way. They cross over end of May, beginning of June, and the North Node is making its way out into Aries. So that is all the planets, lots going on. Let's now kind of move into the calendar date by date breakdown. Remember that during this portion of the video, I'm just going to briefly talk about the astro weather event that's happening on that specific date. If you want more in-depth information to understand the full picture, the full energy of that astro weather event, just go ahead to the timestamp of the planet involved. For example, when I talk about Venus moving into the energy of Leo on June 5th, if you want to understand more what that's going to entail, just go to the timestamp that involves Venus, where I'm going to break that down even more. So you can use this portion of the video by fast forwarding to a specific date if you already have something planned on your calendar in the month of June and you're looking forward to what is going to happen on that date energetically, or you can go ahead and save this and come back. Remembering when we're doing astro forecasting and we're talking about the astrology and the weather forecast. I'm telling you the energy that you may experience. As if it's going to rain, you would pack an umbrella. Also remembering that we don't feel the energy until it's actually happening in the sky. So when I'm talking about an astro weather event happening on a specific date in June, you might be like, what? That doesn't make sense. I don't know how that's going to happen. There's nothing going on in my life. That's normal because it's not until the actual astro weather event, till that planet is in that position of the sky, that we're actually feeling that energy. So keep that in mind as we go through the date by date breakdown. So we're going to start out with the first week of June, which is actually a carryover from the month of May. What's in the stars from May 25th until June 3rd? Remember, this is the time frame where Jupiter is going to move into and run into the North Node of Destiny. This goes about exact on June 1st. Remembering Jupiter is our planet of expansion and blessings and luck and opportunity, and the North Node deals with our fate, with our destiny. It accelerates things and brings things towards us that is meant for us on our soul journey. This transit of these two planetary bodies meeting up in the sky happens once every 12 years. So during this first week of June, we're going to feel this energy that is very fated for us. Also remembering that this is just the initiation or the beginning. You might not think it's a major event, meeting someone or an idea or something you launched into the world. It might feel like nothing in the moment, but as you go on your journey, as you look back to this time frame of the end of May to the beginning of June, you might think back and go, wow, that's actually when that major event started in my life. So pay attention and take inventory around this time. Ending the week on the 3rd, we have this full moon in Sagittarius. I break that down in the planet by planet breakdown under the moon, if you want to catch that on this video. And remembering, I will have an in-depth full moon in Sagittarius video for you to catch. But around this time, what we're going to be doing is a full moon is releasing and letting go. And Sagittarius deals with our belief systems, our philosophy, and our perspective on life. And so there's something we have to set free, something we have to let go of, an old pattern and way of thinking. And we want to expand our optimism and our faith and our trust. That's the energy of Sagittarius. Now, around this time, we have a lot of other planetary energy that's going to influence this full moon. Jupiter and the North Node conjunction being one of them, and the other one is Mercury running into the planet of Uranus, which is going to carry over into next week. So what's in the stars from June 4th until June 10th? We have two major astro weather events this week. Kicking off the week on June 4th, we have Mercury, which is the messenger, our mind, speaking, expressing, communicating with others, running into Uranus, the rebel, the revolutionary, the planet of sudden, jolting change, unexpected surprises. So you blend Mercury, the messenger, news, information, the spreading of knowledge, with the planet Uranus. There could be a sudden revelation. You could have a sudden unexpected thought that's in alignment with your next chapter. Someone could share some information with you you didn't expect. All of these things. Do remember, though, that Uranus deals with electricity. It's a little volatile. It's a little hectic and unexpected. And Mercury deals with technology and transportation. So just be cautious around this day, and also be cautious with your words, as you can say things you don't mean to say, reveal things that maybe you don't want to say, and your words could come out a little erratic or volatile. So be careful with that. But then we move to the next day on June 5th. This is a beautiful day. This is when Venus officially moves into the energy of Leo. I'm so looking forward to this. As a relational astrologer, I always pay attention to where Venus is in the sky. Venus being how we love, who we love, what we value at the time, and whatever zodiac sign Venus is in is how we're loving and what we're valuing and how we're attracting things, because it is the feminine energy. And when Venus goes into a fire energy, our passion is ignited, the spark increases, we have more intensity, we're a little bit more bold. And being in the energy of Leo, it's about taking the risk. It's about opening your heart. It's about being seen, being praised, and being recognized, and doing the same for the people in our life that we value. We are willing to go a little bit more dramatic, a little bit more grand, a little bit more bold. Traditionally, Venus stays in a zodiac sign for only 3 weeks. But this year, as she moves into Leo on the 5th of June, she will be here for 5 months. So something we can enjoy and increase the pleasure and beauty and more harmony in this area of our life. So she's going to work her magic for 5 whole months, making our life more beautiful. So with that being said, Mars is also here. So he's going to welcome her in. Remember the masculine. He's already in this fire energy. So we're taking action. We're making decisions. We're doing some more risk taking in the pursuit of our goals and our dreams. And Venus is going to bring in the feminine so we can attract and magnify in. A lot to talk about with this energy. I will have a full Venus in Leo breakdown video that you can catch. But for now, this is just the beginning. For the rest of the week, we just get to enjoy this energy. Nobody is going to mess it up until we get into the third week of June, which leads us into the very important date that I talked about in the planet by planet breakdown, June 11th. So what's in the stars from June 11th until June 17th? A whole lot. On June 11th, kicking off this week, we have 3 major astro weather events all going down on the same date. The first one being Pluto moving into Capricorn. He is now retrograde. He backed up from Aquarius back into the energy of Capricorn. Now, Pluto's a slow-moving planet, so he only transits, aka moves into a new zodiac sign, about once every 15 years. And in 2023 is the year that he moved out of Capricorn into Aquarius. But now he's retrograde and he's going back for one final visitation, clearing up anything that wasn't finished. And Pluto rules the underworld. He is the investigator. He is the detective. And he wants to reveal secrets and truth, bring the skeletons out of the closet. So he's going back and finishing up anything that is unfinished, dealing with Capricorn. Now, we don't feel this so much on a personal level as we do as a collective. And Capricorn as the collective rules over government, institutions, anything that has rules or structure to it, authorities, people in power, royalty, things like that. So Pluto is going to dredge up some more secrets and reveal some more things that's going to help crumble and destroy, because his goal is to transform. And there's a lot of things in those areas of life that are unfinished, and he will be here now until January of next year. So we can really expect from June 11th moving forward through the rest of the year, the institutions, people in power, authority, governments, things like that, to do their final crumble. And I know that sounds scary, but it's part of the process of Pluto transforming darkness into light. So just hold on for that. What's going to magnetize that even more energetically is on the same date, June 11th, the second major astro weather event is Mercury moving into the energy of Gemini. Remembering Mercury is how we think, it's how we speak, it's how we express, it's how we like to socialize. And he's been in Taurus doing this whole retrograde here. Now he is fast forward. He came out of retrograde and he is powering through Taurus, Gemini, and into Cancer later this month. So our mind is now on overdrive. He is at home in Gemini. So on June 11th, when this switch happens, we now go into air energy of Gemini, the twins, this and that, and multitasking and learning all the things and being curious and absorbing knowledge. This is when our monkey mind turns back on. Anxious thoughts, racing thoughts, wanting to do all the projects, wanting to socialize with everybody, and specifically a lot of overstimulation. So we want to be very careful with this energy. But with Mercury in his home sign of Gemini, which likes to speak and talk and spread messages and share information and learn things, and Pluto going back into Capricorn to reveal secrets and to reveal truths, this could be a lot of stuff coming out very quickly around this time frame of messages and information that is going to reveal a lot of truths. So you want to personally be careful when you're speaking and when you're expressing that you're speaking only the truth, or Pluto is going to reveal that it's not, and also pay attention to people around you and how they're speaking with you. Now, this is a beautiful energy as Mercury stays in Gemini until the end of the month to learn things and to share what you can learn. Start a blog, start a podcast, teach people something. If you want to learn something, ask others, as they're also under this influence and wanting to speak and teach and express their information to other people. Great time to socialize and network and all of that stuff as Mercury is in his home energy of Gemini during this time. And then the third major astro event happening on the 11th is Jupiter reaches 5 degrees of Taurus. Now, I mentioned this under the Jupiter planet by planet breakdown. 5 degrees of Taurus is a very important point in the astrology this year, as Mercury has retrograded over this place in the sky twice. Jupiter will also retrograde over this place in the sky twice. And then we will have an eclipse in October at 5 degrees of Taurus. And that's the final eclipse of the Taurus-Scorpio eclipse cycle. So an ending of all sorts. And that is 5 major transits over this 5 degree of Taurus mark. So check your chart. Do you have anything in 3, 4, 5, 6 degrees of Taurus? That means this year you will be heavily impacted by all of these events. So on June 11th, Jupiter moves to 5 degrees of Taurus, where he will continue on 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way to 15. And on September 4th, he will retrograde back to 5 degrees, this exact same point in the sky, by December 30th. So whatever happens on June 11th, whatever shocking information, whatever secrets are revealed, whatever communication you have, whatever people you network with, you may have to circle all the way back to this date, to this event in your life, as Jupiter will come back to this point in the sky on December 30th. And there will be an eclipse in there halfway in between in October that might just reveal some things even more to get you back on track with your destiny. So June 11th, mark the date, do a journal entry, something to commemorate and remember this important date in the astrology. So that's going on at the beginning of the week. At the end of the week, on the 17th, Saturn kicks off his retrograde. Major energy. Not only do you want to go back to the planet by planet breakdown where I talk about Saturn in this video, but you're going to also want to truly understand Saturn's 3-year journey through the energy of Pisces. So go catch that video. If you want a little foreshadow of that energy, you can open up to your astrology journal to page 44 and 45, a 2-page spread talking all about Saturn's retrograde, your do's and don'ts, lessons he's trying to teach you, your journal prompts, etc. But remember, this is very important because Saturn is Lord Karma. When he starts backing up in the sky, he is allowing space for you to step into your own power, your own authority. And from that moment forward, when that retrograde begins on June 17th, until he comes out of retrograde in November, that is your trial period. He is allowing you to build up good karma if you're doing the things you need to do, or you're building up negative karma where he's going to have to punish you when he comes out of retrograde. So remember, Saturn is the disciplinarian. It's, are you doing the things you need to do? Are you being responsible? Do you have structure? How committed are you? Do you have boundaries? What are your rules? Do you have routines? Is this area of your life solid? Does it have a strong foundation? And this retrograde is very important because he enters Pisces, goes to 7 degrees on this date on June 17th. He will retrograde from 7 degrees back to 0, back to the beginning of Pisces. So he's really giving us an opportunity, a trial run, until he gets back to 0 degrees in November, where he will really start going in on the lessons. So make sure you understand that lesson. Then we move into the 4th week of June. So what's in the stars from the 18th until the 24th of June? This is a much easier week, much more in flow, some good aspects going on here. We start out the week on the 18th with a new moon in the zodiac energy of Gemini. Gemini is all about, again, socializing, communicating, and sharing information. New moons are new beginnings and new chapters. I'll have an entire video breaking down that energy as well. So a new beginning to start out the week. Then we move on to the 19th, where Venus moves into her pre-shadow placement in the sky. And essentially that means from this moment until her retrograde begins in July, all the people and experiences and things that happen in our life, we are going to have to retrograde back over. What does Venus do? Revalue, reprioritize, ask us if this is beautiful. Do we still love it? Do we still want it in our life? Because her goal during this retrograde is to make our life more beautiful. So be very careful moving forward from June 19th until after her retrograde is over in September on the 4th, because any newness you might have to revisit. You may not really value that person. You may not really find that they enhance your life and make it more beautiful. So just proceed with caution. Again, I will talk so much more about that. Just take inventory from this moment forward as Venus begins her pre-shadow. And then on the 21st, the sun moves into the energy of Cancer. We love this energy because this is the summer solstice. So on June 21st, make sure you do a summer solstice ritual. It is the day of the year where there is the most amount of sunlight, where we feel jovial and optimistic. We get a lot of heat and life and vitality. But from this point forward, all the way until December, until the winter solstice, we will be losing light every day. We will be going more into releasing and retreating and preparing for the winter. So this is a very beautiful day to celebrate. And also remember, as the sun moves into Cancer and journeys through this season for the rest of the month, we're going to be feeling a lot more nostalgic. Cancer is a water energy, so you might feel more emotional. Make sure you're going with the flow, nurturing yourself, creating safety and security and protection. That is the energy of Cancer. It deals a lot with home and family, so just make time for your loved ones. If you want to hermit and go within, that is totally okay. I know it's the summer and there's all sorts of social plans, but we're really going to be feeling with the sun in Cancer like we want to slow down and go more into the flow of life. So honor that energy. And then we move into the final week of June. So what's in the stars from June 25th until the end of the month on the 30th? We have two major astro weather events this week. The first one being on the 26th, Mercury joins the sun in the energy of Cancer. Remember, Mercury is the mind and how we speak and express and communicate and how we learn. Being in Cancer, it's all about the feminine, our intuition, of going with the flow and honoring our feelings. So we're no longer thinking with the Gemini mind, the racing thoughts, the overstimulation. We're now going by our intuition. So not so much the data and the logic and the facts, but we're thinking through what we're feeling and we're paying attention to what our gut is telling us. So a different way of thinking and downloading information, and we're speaking a little softer and expressing with more feminine energy. So I love this as the sun is here and Mercury will be joining in on that effort. And then we end the month on the 30th, the final day, with Neptune going retrograde in the energy of Pisces. So that makes Saturn and Neptune at the end of the month both going backwards, helping us reevaluate, re-edit, reorganize, reassess the Pisces area of our life. Now, Neptune as a planet is all about living in la la land, fantasy, illusion, romance, having rose-colored glasses on, being very optimistic. But when he goes retrograde, the veil is lifted. We see the truth clearly. We take those rose-colored glasses off, and it can be kind of shocking. It can be kind of like discombobulating, if you will. It's happening in the energy of Pisces, which Pisces, remember, deals with things behind the scenes. It's the energy that exists that we don't physically see in our reality, but plays a big role in our day-to-day life. So our mental health, our subconscious, our energetic bodies, so our auras and our chakras and our spirituality and our beliefs, what we hold true, our trusting in faith in the universe. So we're going to have to get a shocking reality check in this area of our life. And Saturn stepping in and saying, I'm going to let you step up. Make sure you have those spiritual routines and rituals. Make sure that you are committed to your mental health and protecting your mental health. Make sure you have your energetic boundaries strong. All of those things. So by the time we get to the end of June, this is a very prominent energy, this retrograde that we're going to have to deal with. And again, you have Neptune's retrogrades pages in here as well. So the beginning of June, very different from the ending of June, but I love it. As we move into July, we have a lot of fire in the sky with Venus and Mars, our masculine and feminine, dancing in the fiery, passionate, intense energy of Leo, and really moving the sun into Leo as well next month, along with Mercury. So it's going to be an exciting month in July. We just have to get through Cancer season in the ending of June. And remembering retrograde season is starting to pick up. So we're going to have more planets going retrograde in the month of July, and then more in August. And by the time we get to September, 8 active retrogrades within that month. So it's really going to be about slowing down, going back over things, and making sure that we are following our own guidance, standing in our truth, and figuring out who we really are. So with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. Make sure you save this video so you can come back in the month of June. If anything comes up for you, or you have something on your calendar that you want to revisit and understand the energy before you go into that experience. And if you need help breaking down this energy per your personal birth chart, I am happy to do a reading for you to help guide you and navigate not just the month of June, but we could do a 6-month forecast, we could do a year ahead forecast, or if you've never done a birth chart reading, just understanding your own personal energy and how all the current astrology plays into that. So reach out to me. You can find my booking link in the description box below. If you want to customize a reading or have any questions about a reading, you can contact me via my email, also in the description box below. Keep in mind that I will only be taking readings for the month of June, and then I will be off until September. So if you're looking forward to doing a reading or really feeling called to understand the current astrology in your life, make sure you book a spot right away. I am following my own astrological chart and what's coming up in July and August, and so I'm taking time off to travel internationally. Really looking forward to it, but I will not be taking readings in July or August. So I'll be back in September. So make sure you get on my calendar before then. And thank you so much for tuning into this video. Like and subscribe. Go catch those videos I mentioned to catch up with what's going on with Jupiter and Saturn. And super exciting, I will be releasing here a dating through astrology video. I did a short format of this video over on TikTok at The Relational Astrologer, where I broke down how your partner's birth chart shows up in the dating process. But I wanted to elaborate on that a little bit more. And so you can look forward to a full in-depth video coming out here on this YouTube channel. So again, thank you so much for being here. Let me know in the comments below if you have any major astro weather events going on in June and how you plan to navigate that now that you know the current astro weather. And I send you love and light, and I will catch you in the next episode.